Good evening. I'm honored to serve as your congressman, and I'm sorry I can't be there personally. I am proud of the work my friend Mayor Barnett has accomplished in Rochester Hills. Matter of fact, I remember Rochester Hills in the 80s. I was an Army officer, an FBI agent back then. I was going to wear my members-only jacket and my parachute pants. Apparently they shrink when you leave them in the closet. You know, back in the 80s, we actually had to do pretty tough things. You couldn't have the NSA spy on your cell phone. You needed the white pages. You actually had to get in the car and drive over and show up, talk to people. Pretty an amazing thing. I had my Walkman, my boom box, fanny packs, scrunchies. And remember those mullets? You know, I'm pretty glad that some of those things have changed, and they've changed for the better. You know, some things don't change. One of the reasons I can't be there is, well, we're engaging in some difficult times with our Russian Federation friends. Some things just don't change, but I am glad so much has, and a lot of that change has come at the work of Mayor Barnett. So I'm honored to introduce him tonight before his State of the City address. I wish you well, I wish the city well, and Mayor, I know you've done a great job. You'll continue to do it. I'm honored to represent you and your constituents and the city of Rochester Hills in the United States Congress.
Well, I'm happy to report to you that I didn't own parachute pants or any of that, and it was all before my time. Not really. I remember it all. I don't want to say fondly. Just one comment on the weather. I'm not going to complain about it. I want to remind you that June, July, and August is on its way, whether we like it or not, and hopefully it won't be snowy. A little more than a year ago, when I was going through the superintendent hiring process in the Rochester Community Schools, the Board of Education held a reception to introduce the candidates to the community. Mayor Barnett was one of the first people who introduced himself and quickly pointed out there were lots of great houses for sale in the city of Rochester Hills. I share that story with you because I want you to know the man is always proudly working and advocating for his community. After I was hired, I made a point of making sure one of my first calls was with this friendly and energetic mayor, and I was immediately impressed by his enthusiasm, his commitment to the community, and his visionary thinking. Mayor Barnett has served as the mayor of Rochester Hills for nearly 8 years, and he's received considerable, well-deserved national and regional recognition. His administration is recognized for innovation, fiscal responsibility, and environmental leadership. Over the past year, it's been my honor to be included in a press conference highlighting the Community Satisfaction Survey, to engage in a joint meeting with the City of Rochester Hills and the Rochester Board of Education, and recently to share the podium with Mayor Barnett at the Chamber Outlook Luncheon. I look forward to our future collaborations and to the exciting news that Mayor Brian Barnett will share with us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce my friend, the Honorable Mayor Brian K. Barnett.
Well, good evening. You guys ready to have some fun tonight? Good, you're in the right spot. Vice President Weber, members of the City Council, distinguished guests, friends, family, and most importantly, residents of Rochester Hills. Good evening. It is my privilege to be here tonight and to welcome you as I present the 2014 Rochester Hills State of the City Address. I want to specifically thank all of you for coming out on this beautiful, sunny Rochester Hills evening. It was when you pulled in. This is my 8th State of the City Address, and finding new and creative ways to top the previous year's performance is becoming more and more challenging. Hopefully you enjoyed the 80s intro. My goal has always been to design a presentation commensurate with the price you paid to come here and view it. So with that in mind, I turned to my 8- and 9-year-old boys for inspiration, Kenneth and Tristan. You met them earlier. They told me, Dad, 2 things. First, do we have to come? I said, yes. They said, we'd rather go see the Lego movie. I said, you're coming to see Dad. They said, well, Dad, if we have to come see you, will you keep it short? That got me thinking. I might be able to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, here it goes. The state of our city is that
everything is awesome. Everything is cool and
Thank you for coming. No idea how long it took us to create those Legos, right? For those of you that haven't or have seen the #1 movie in America over the last month, I apologize for putting that song back in your head. Trust me, it's tough to get out. But to be honest, if I only had that much time and only this theater for maybe 30 seconds, the Lego soundtrack wouldn't be a bad choice to summarize our city's position. Fortunately, tonight we've been given more time, and because of that, I want to start by thanking the individuals who bring the movies to Rochester Hills. We are grateful to have such tremendous community partners like Paul Glantz, John Goldstein, and the entire Imagine team. And I recognize that this is as close as I'll probably ever get to the big screen, and so I greatly appreciate their kindness and support in allowing us to hold this event here each year. And I'm certain that you all appreciate the free popcorn and pop. Now, a production like this, and I choose the word production intentionally, is not possible without a tremendous team effort. And I want to specifically thank all of the behind-the-scenes folks listed on the reverse or the backside of your program, and those that helped us kick things off today, including Dr. Rubel Shelley, Jason Sewell, Megan Phillips, the Youth Council, and all the staff and volunteers who are here tonight to help share and celebrate our story. Please join me in thanking them this evening. I also want to thank my friend and our Congressman Mike Rogers. How many of you thought you would hear Congressman Rogers say parachute, pants, scrunchie, and mullet in the same sentence? Very awesome. Congressman Rogers represents the majority of Rochester Hills, and we communicate on a regular basis. He does an excellent job in Washington, D.C., and I'm proud to call him a friend. There we go. Congressman Rogers' wife is in the crowd, apparently. It's unfortunate that he couldn't be here tonight, but of course, given his role as the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, it's likely that he's probably listening in. There you go. I also want to thank my friend, Dr. Robert Shaner, for his kind introduction. Bob and I have struck up a close friendship since his arrival here last year. I have a deep respect for the role of the public school system in our community, and I love his enthusiasm for students. I think we both understand the important role our two organizations can play in the success of our region and have pledged to work together and support each other like never before. In fact, Dr. Shaner and I have received a personal invitation from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to be one of the few mayors and school superintendents selected to discuss how schools and cities can collaborate to improve education and ultimately our cities. We have a meeting Friday with Bill Gates himself. And knowing Bob, he's thinking the exact same thing I am. How good are my pickpocket skills? Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking Dr. Shaner for his introduction today. Thank you, Dr. Shaner. Friends, we have an absolutely fantastic community, and you're going to hear a lot about that this evening. You know, when you have a well-run community, you can usually trace that back to innovative and engaged leadership, and our region has just that. I'd like to recognize the elected leaders here this evening and have them stand. Please hold your applause till all have been recognized, because last year, you remember, nobody clapped for my brother Chris and it was awkward. Our Oakland County executive and my very good friend L. Brooks Patterson is here. From the Auburn Hills City Council, Veronica Mitchell. Mayor of the City of Auburn Hills, my colleague Kevin McDaniel. From the City of Rochester, Councilwoman Kim Russell. Orion Township Supervisor, my brother Chris Barnett. From the judges, Julie Nicholson from the 52nd 3rd District Court, and the Honorable Nancy Karniak. We also have from the school district, oops, my sheet moved over. We also have Chuck Couteau, and I know I'm missing someone. Mike, yes, Mike is here as well. If you could all please stand and be recognized. Our illustrious elected officials, thank you for being here this evening. Now, we are very fortunate in this city to have a strong, intelligent, and selfless city council serving our residents. Each member brings their own diversity and careful thought to our issues, and I sincerely appreciate working with them. We have 3 new members this year, Ms. Stephanie Marita, Mr. Tom Wiggins, and Mr. Kevin Brown. All 3 have jumped in with both feet and have added tremendous value to our leadership team. They joined President Greg Hooper, Vice President Mike Weber, and Council members Adam Kokendorfer and Mark Tisdale. And I'd like to ask them to stand and be recognized, as these members are very much a part of the success I will speak to shortly. Members of our City Council. Probably the biggest blessing in my life has been the incredibly loving family I've been fortunate to be a part of. My mother and stepfather, my brother Matt, and my brother Chris, although I poke fun at him, I think he's doing some amazing things leading Orion Township. My sister Andrea, who with her husband Jan, stole my thunder here 2 years ago by adopting my niece Shiloh 2 days before my stay to the city. And well, this year she tried to do it again. They welcomed little Isaiah DeVitt into our world 3 weeks ago. I'm telling you folks, my siblings and I are fiercely competitive for attention. Most of you know my legendary grandparents, my aunts and uncles, and my amazing in-laws. They all have been so wonderfully supportive. My parents and grandparents now winter in Florida, but this year, they are here. Viewership at Ponderosa Park in Kissimmee is down sharply tonight, but I'm so glad that they're in the theater this evening. And I certainly couldn't do any of this without the unconditional love and support of my wife Corinne and my boys Kenneth and Tristan. I have a pretty crazy job with incredible demands for my time, and they are both understanding and patient. I love my family and love coming home each night and having my boys absolutely attack me at the door. Last year, I made this comment to try and encourage my boys to be quiet. I love you, Corinne, and boys, if you're quiet tonight, Mommy still probably won't let us get a dog. Well, guess what? I was wrong. For Christmas, we got a puppy. So now that I have the hang of this, let me try this again. Boys, be quiet. And Mom still probably won't let us get a sister. That was a surprise for Corinne. How'd that go over? She's still here? Ladies and gentlemen, I am so thrilled that you're here and you've joined me this evening as we are truly celebrating something special. This year marks our city's 30th birthday, 30 years of awesomeness. And if you haven't noticed by now, we're planning to celebrate this in true retro 80s style this evening. So with that in mind, the question is, how do we celebrate the great vision and foresight our city's founding fathers had in creating this community back in 1984? Well, one way I could think of was to go back to the early 80s to try to tell our stories using classic one-liners from the best of 1980s pop culture. So we gave that a go, and here's what it looked like.
Come on, let's celebrate.
Chili down or cool back or whatever these people say. What do they say?
I love it when a plan comes together.
And I'm not even going to bore you with the peripheral stuff, pal.
Successful, isn't it?
Thank you for your support.
I'll be back.
But that was taking a little long and was getting a little choppy. So we decided to scrap that idea, and we thought, well, what else was popular in the early 80s? And if you look at your program, of course, games. Specifically, video games were popular. Why not tell the story of our unique beginning and the events that led Avon Township to consider cityhood through the classic American video game Pac-Man, or the slightly less popular Annex Man. Come on, that can't be too soon. It's been 30 years. But we realized, of course, that method was going to take simply too long, and we were afraid that we would also run out of quarters. But friends, there are lots of fun ways to tell our story, but the bottom line is simple, and it hasn't changed. We have a great story. Actually, we have a pretty extensive novel on greatness. Now, of course, our community's roots go back much deeper than the 1980s. They go all the way back to March 17, 1817, when James Graham first settled in Avon Township 197 years ago, almost to the date. And over the past 197 years, more and more families businesses, friends, and visitors have come to know and love what our community is all about. And while not always stated as such, it's clear that our community's longstanding purpose and goal has been to be the preeminent place to live, work, and raise your family. And for decades, the leaders of this community have carefully guarded that goal. From our humble beginnings in 1817, when people rode horses and listened to this. To 1984, when we were driving the first Chrysler minivan and listening to this on the FM dial. You know you had one. To today, when you can drive a vehicle actually produced in Rochester Hills, the Equus Base 770, and listen to music like this on your satellite radio. No matter the era or challenge, our city has grown and changed with the times. And tonight, I'm happy to report that that growth continues. From humble beginnings, Rochester Hills is now the 15th largest city in the state of Michigan, the same size as the city of Southfield and 20% larger than the city of Pontiac. Last year we had our highest total of building permits since 2008, and among those new permits were nearly 90 for new homes. Now, traditionally, I always choose to lead with these housing statistics because they are, in my opinion, some of the most important ones we have. They're really the building blocks for any community. New families, putting kids in our schools, helping support our nonprofits, and demanding new services from our retailers and businesses. And those new homes they moved into? Well, those new homes averaged a construction cost of $430,000, meaning they sold for probably closer to $500,000, representing a significant investment in our community. Now, the housing market in general has come roaring back. Realtors are reporting bidding wars for Rochester Hills homes, with many buyers paying more than the asking price. The market in our city is certainly hot. In fact, the Oakland Press reported just 3 weeks ago that Rochester Hills led all of our neighbors in home value increase in 2014. Now, I don't want to name any of those communities, but one of them is Orion Township. New homes, increased sales, higher values. Yes, in Rochester Hills, when we talk about housing, we truly have many reasons to be optimistic. Now, that optimism in the past, however, has been dampened by the foreclosure epidemic in America, and it has touched Rochester Hills. But our economic recovery and stability has certainly reversed that trend and dramatically improved our foreclosures. Numbers as high as 352 in 2010 to just 89 last year, a decrease of 75% in the past 4 years. Simply an amazing recovery. And as they've been doing for nearly 2 centuries, people continue to find our area attractive to live and raise their families. And because of this, our city grows and prospers. Perhaps the item, however, that is most to credit for our continued success as a desirable community to live is the number of high-quality, high-paying jobs available to our residents. As most of you know, this mission is very personal and passionate for me. I believe most community issues can be solved by a good-paying job. It impacts not only the quality of life for our families, but our property values, the health of our school districts, our service providers, even our crime rate are impacted. All are closely tied to the number and quality of a community's jobs. And because of that, we spend an incredible amount of time working to attract and retain the good, high-paying, technology-based jobs of the future. I'm proud to report tonight that this focused approach and strategy continues to pay dividends for our residents. In 2013, 8 brand new high-tech companies were welcomed into Rochester Hills, and with them, over 500 new jobs. Companies like I Am Branded, a graphics advertising company who, among many other things, produces the building wraps on the Chrysler headquarters building. They consolidated their offices in Troy and Madison Heights and moved in on Research Drive, bringing 60 new employees to their new facility with plans to hire an additional 25 this year. Advenovation is another Rochester Hills company with a great story. They got their business legs underneath them starting at the Oakland University Incubator, a joint initiative between Oakland University and the city of Rochester Hills. Advenovation's area of expertise is in the field of vision-guided robotics, and they are currently developing the heat shield on NASA's Orion capsule, which will replace the space shuttle later this year. You know, simple stuff. Already this year, they've experienced 500% growth and have added 15 new employees. And speaking of robotics, I would be remiss if I didn't provide a quick shout out to our friends at Fanuc. This year, Fanuc became the city's first billion-dollar company. And thanks to their success, as well as that of Perry and Motoman, the city of Rochester Hills retains its title as the robotic capital of North America. These are just a couple quick examples of the innovations flourishing in Rochester Hills these days, and our administration is happy to support them. The fact of the matter is that growth was evident in nearly all corners of our town, as we added nearly $80 million in projects across the city. And whether you're designing a new automobile, a heat shield, or a donut, we're glad that you've chosen Rochester Hills to do business. With a community of nearly 75,000 residents, we must have a wide variety of jobs for our diverse workforce. And by partnering with the Chamber of Commerce, we've welcomed many other new businesses to our community this year as well. Take a look at this short but gnarly video welcoming a few of our newest partners.
We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and
Thank you to all the new members of our business family for investing here and making last year such a resounding success. We will and must continue to be aggressive and innovative in our engagement of business leaders and companies as competition abounds. And as I mentioned, we will not rest on any past laurels or past success. With that in mind, I was proud to introduce a new partnership to help support our business community at a press conference 2 weeks ago. For businesses to be successful, they have to be where our customers are. And in today's day and age, well, that's the web. It's astonishing to think that 61% of Michigan's small businesses do not have an active web presence. Well, we're aiming to change that here in Rochester Hills. And thanks to a new partnership between our city and Google, I am proud to announce our campaign to get Rochester Hills businesses online. With this unique partnership, Google is offering any Rochester Hills business without a website a custom domain name, web hosting, and access to educational resources for 1 year, all for free. We want all of our small businesses to be successful, and this partnership should give our Rochester Hills businesses a leg up. To find out more about this new relationship with Google, check out our table in the lobby or visit our website. Our motto here is simple, friends. We don't want to be in your business, and we shouldn't be. But if there's a way that we can support you and help your business grow, that's a role that we can and will play. Why, you ask? Well, you remember those $500,000 homes we celebrated earlier? It's because small businesses and innovative startups, those are the ones that are creating the type of jobs that are driving the need for the $500,000 homes that we're building. A wonderful inertia we are committed to continuing. Our strategy, it's working. We are bringing companies, creating jobs, and our residents are benefiting. Ladies and gentlemen, since the start of my administration, we have welcomed over 100 new high-tech companies, created and retained over 5,400 high-tech jobs, and nearly $160 million in new investments in our technology parks alone. In those technology parks where 11,000 people go to work each morning, our vacancy rate is just 3.4%, the lowest in a decade. And our unemployment rate, ladies and gentlemen, well, that is exciting too. That stands at just 4.2%. the lowest in Rochester Hills since 2008, the lowest in Oakland County, and the second lowest in the state of Michigan. You can be excited about that. So the numbers are overwhelming, ladies and gentlemen, and undeniable. Residents and businesses are flocking to Rochester Hills, and we think that we know why. For many, we know it's a combination of access to a talented and educated workforce, a business-friendly environment, and our world-famous lowest tax rate among cities in Oakland County. Of course, our educated workforce is an exceptional advantage on many fronts, with nearly 50% of our population holding a bachelor's degree and almost 25% of our adult population holding a master's. Our residents are tech-savvy and prepared for the knowledge-based jobs of the future. And with two outstanding institutions of higher learning, like Oakland University and Rochester College, we are perfectly positioned to remain the educational epicenter of our region. Now, about those two outstanding institutions. Both have undergone significant changes over the last year. Take, for instance, Oakland University, my alma mater, and the second largest employer in our city. Well, their stock just keeps rising. Now with over 20,000 students, 100,000 alumni, 260 degree and certificate programs, and prominently placed in the powerful Horizon League, Oakland University is quickly becoming a national player that we choose to graciously share with our friends in Auburn Hills. There they are. The Oakland University William Beaumont School of Medicine is now in its third year and boasts 225 of the nation's brightest minds. These students were selected from thousands of worldwide applications, and once fully integrated, is projected to have a billion-dollar impact on our local and regional economy. Under the new leadership of Dr. Betty Youngblood, who took over for longtime President Dr. Gary Russi, the growth continues with nearly every crane in this region on campus for either the new engineering building, the new parking deck, new on-campus housing, the new bell tower. Go Grizzlies is not just something you read on a t-shirt, it's actually a way of life on the Rochester Hills campus. And just down the road, Rochester College continues to grow as well. This past fall, they launched a capital campaign to build a recreation facility and celebrated the first $1 million raised late last month. They also have seen record-breaking enrollment in 4 of the last 5 years. And they too experienced change at the top when Dr. Rubel Shelley transitioned into the role of chancellor and Dr. John Tyson became president. Now, Dr. Tyson has been wonderfully engaged and supportive in growing the ties between the college and the city since his arrival. Now, he loves telling people that he's from Texas, where he anticipates your response to be something like this. We're not worthy! We're not worthy! However, my experience after meeting him is that you're much more likely to walk away with this feeling.
Where's the beef?
Dr. Tyson let me know about a half an hour ago that he wasn't going to be here, so unfortunately that was where we were going to roast him. But I certainly do appreciate his leadership and enjoy his working with Dr. Tyson as well. In short, both Oakland University and Rochester College play an important role in our city's success, and all three of our organizations are truly, truly thriving. At the end of the day, however, what really separates our community from the hundreds that surround us are the quality of life amenities we enjoy in Rochester Hills. It's the world-class senior services provided by the OPC. It's our fantastic library, our top-ranked school districts, our beautiful rivers and trails, our quaint historic districts, and our unique and diverse park system. But for just a minute, indulge me as we take a slightly deeper look into the first two, the OPC. Now, this organization has been truly transformative in our community. They're friendly, efficient, supportive, engaged, comprehensive, and frankly, all around awesome. They provide meals, nutrition, activities, opportunities, relationships, and above all, hope to over 100,000 seniors a year. And for 30 years, they have been a beacon of quality and innovation in senior services. And for 30 years, they have had but one brilliant, passionate, humble leader. Later this year, Mary Miller will step down as the director, leaving behind a monumental legacy. I've said it before, 100 years from now, there will be very few people that this community will remember. Mary Miller will be one of them. Mary, thank you for giving our community 30 years of hard work, integrity, leadership, and accomplishment. You've left a legacy you can be proud of. Mary is my guest here tonight. I'd like her to stand and be recognized one more time. And now the Rochester Hills Public Library. Now, over the past year, the Barnett family has checked out hundreds and hundreds of books, and we've returned most of them. So we consider ourselves pseudo-experts on this topic. We are extremely blessed to have such an amazing resource right here in our community. Led by Christine Haig, the Rochester Hills Public Library is one of the finest in Southeast Michigan, with one glaring exception: that ridiculously tough to navigate outdoor drop-off drive-through. Those of you who use the library know exactly what I'm talking about. Take a look at this totally random security camera footage we captured earlier today.
Help, I need somebody help, not just anybody help, you know I need someone help.
Come on, you've all been there. Well, this year, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally getting fixed. And we thank the library board and their entire team of volunteers and employees for all of their hard work in making our library the incredible resource that it is today. The OPC and the library are two great examples, but we know that there are literally hundreds of organizations and groups that contribute to improving the daily lives of our residents, like the Rochester Area Neighborhood House, Blessings in a Backpack, our incredible and amazing CERT team. We are truly grateful for their impact in Rochester Hills. A quality of life investment continues to be a hallmark of our organization as well. We recognize intrinsically it's why so many people move here and enjoy living here. And we recognize statistically that our residents often vote with their feet. So at my last State of the City address, I promised that 2013 would be a year of investment in our parks. And we introduced the idea of the community garden, the reuse of the 1827 calf barn, and the exciting announcement about the development of Riverbend Park. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2013, we delivered on each of those new projects. Our park system is dynamic, diverse, and highly valued. And last year, for the 5th year in a row, we topped 1 million visitor days in our parks. Nearly 170,000 people enjoyed Bloomer Park as mountain bikers, trail enthusiasts, cricketers, sledders, and runners flocked to weekly events. Nearly 250,000 swimmers, boaters, skaters, and anglers made the pilgrimage to Spencer Park, mostly to enjoy Carter Lake. And nearly 400,000 soccer moms and baseball dads, inline skating gurus, tennis champions, and firework fanatics enjoyed all of the activities at Borden Park. One point of personal pride in our park system is the story of our museum. During the financial challenges of the past few years, many museums in our area have consolidated, sold, and even closed. Well, not ours. Last year, the Rochester Hills Museum at Van Heusen Farm saw record attendance numbers, averaging 140 visitors a day, every day of the year. Additionally, recognizing the value the museum provides our community, nearly $800,000 in private donations have been raised to secure the 1848 schoolhouse, make repairs to the campus, and this past year, raise the roof on the calf barn. This wonderful new space has been a huge hit for weddings, community events, and other special gatherings, and is already completely booked for every weekend in 2014. Let me repeat that. Completely booked in 2014. Absolutely amazing. This incredible effort was recently recognized statewide as our renovated calf barn, built with the support of the community and a passionate museum staff led by Pat McKay, was named Michigan's Barn of the Year for 2014 by the Michigan Barn Preservation Network. Our apologies and best wishes to the barn that finished second. I think we have a picture. There they are. We have fun doing this. Last year, you may recall that we proposed and City Council supported the city's first community garden. Well, our inaugural year was a tremendous success. The garden sold out quickly, and 95% of our gardeners told us they were satisfied with their gardening experience. Additionally, nearly 60% of those who participated ate more vegetables, and over 50% got more exercise because of their participation with the community garden, the exact results we were hoping for. I want to thank Recycle Bank for their financial support and the Rochester Rotary for the sweat equity support and financial commitment in helping our garden dreams become a reality. The garden will be back again this year, so please visit our website for details on how you can reserve your plot now. As you know from last year, they go and grow quickly. Now, recognizing that our residents appreciate beautification projects, we also invested and improved Veterans Memorial Point and the roundabout at Hamlin. We renovated the only velodrome in the state of Michigan with the help of the Hugheses and their incredible team. And we upgraded and improved the playgrounds at Spencer and Borden Parks. Parks are important to our residents, and so they are a priority for us. But the parks weren't the only department to see major investment last year. The city made a considerable contribution to improving our infrastructure as well. For example, the Department of Public Services added a salt storage facility on their campus on Auburn Road. Brilliantly predicting 18 months ago that this winter would be the worst in 100 years, we invested in this facility to enhance service delivery, address environmental concerns, and improve the speed in which we clean your streets. By all measures, this project has been a success. Additionally, knowing that the #1 issue residents raised as a serious concern was the condition of our residential road network, the administration sought to immediately respond to this request by increasing our construction budget total from $1.8 million a year to $3 million a year for each of the next 3 years. The City Council not only supported that move, but actually increased the allocated proposal for construction by over $2 million each year to respond directly to our residents' concerns. Ladies and gentlemen, this coming summer, we will have more residential street repair than any summer since 2002. Roadwork is scheduled in Cumberland Hills, Eddington Farms, and Thornridge, to name just a few subs, as well as work on Avon and Tinkin Roads in partnership with our friends at the Road Commission for Oakland County. As someone who lives on Avon Road over in this section, I think. But perhaps just as impressive as the amount of work we have done has been the way we've been able to leverage the limited resources we've been allocated. The city has been tremendously proactive and resourceful when it comes to stretching your tax dollars. Over the last 7 years, we've invested nearly $144 million on our roads and bridges. And of that $144 million total, only about $15.5 million, or around 11%, has been directly from the city coffers. The rest leveraged completely through our partners, governmental agencies, and grants. Truly a record to be proud of. Improvements in our roads, parks, and facilities are all designed to improve our efficiencies and ultimately your living experience in Rochester Hills. We exist to serve our residents, and proper planning for our infrastructure is a bedrock principle of this administration and City Council. Of all these improvements, however, there is one that excites me the most. One that wakes me up at night with possibility. As I announced last year, the city will be developing its first new park in nearly 20 years on the city's southwest side. Even the story of how we got to this point is pretty cool and speaks to the creative nature of the people that work here in Rochester Hills. We had a problem, and we saw an opportunity. You see, the city has a piece of property that truly is a hidden gem with no real public access. The problem, of course, as it usually is with city government, is that we didn't have an identified funding source. Enter creativity. Directors Ed Anzik and Mike Hartner contacted Lawrence Tech University's graduate land use planning class and worked out a unique partnership. We made Riverbend Park their semester project, and 20 students spent several months studying the property and dreaming about the possibilities. In the end, 5 teams presented their ideas to our planning commission and city leaders in order to graduate. I took those storyboard dreams and visions and began looking to solve the funding problem. Having those visuals and the plans and ideas that accompanied them caught the eye of one philanthropic individual. And thanks to an incredibly generous gift of $1 million from my friend and prominent city business owner and resident, Steve Stallerick, Riverbend Park will be undergoing a transformation this year. The team is in place and charging hard. We engaged Hubble-Roth and Clark to lead the planning components, and Nicewander and Associates to help us protect and enhance the park's natural beauty. Strategic Communications Solutions was asked to help move the process smoothly, and to work with the MDEQ, who will oversee the technical permits required. We met with the surrounding neighborhoods and received tremendous support and have had preliminary discussions to an enthusiastic planning commission. Everyone is excited about this project. We've begun to clear the parking lot areas, and design has begun on the trail network. When complete, Riverbend Park will be the first environmental park in the region, composed of a variety of habitats resulting in cleaner water, air, and healthier and better educated residents. This new park will give visitors an entirely new Rochester Hills Park experience, and I personally can't wait for everyone to begin to enjoy this park for themselves. It's not too often that you get to work on a legacy project, but this certainly is one, and it will improve the quality of life for those around us, and one that we can be proud of for years to come. And speaking of legacy, there's probably one major project that defines that as much as any in my time as mayor: our innovative trash program. It's hard to believe that later this month we will celebrate 5 years under this current system. Now, if you're new to this community, you might wonder why this still remains such a point of pride. Well, 5 years ago, trash collection here in Rochester Hills was an all-out free-for-all. Everyone had their own day, company, and price. We looked a lot like this.
And here we go, a sea of bodies.
Any way you look at it, you're going to be beat up, bruised, battered, and torn going into that championship match.
It was about that bad. In 2009, we used the collective power of the city to negotiate lower rates for nearly 95% of our residents. And the innovation? That came by adding those chips to your bins and partnering with Recycle Bank to incentivize recycling. We were the first in Michigan. The council and I took significant risk at the time, and some thought the move was foolish. Well, 5 years later, the results are outstanding. In fact, nothing truly short of incredible. Before this comprehensive program, only 18% of our residents recycled on a regular basis. Today, it's between 80 and 90%. Over 70% of you used the rewards program, and over 35,000 rewards were redeemed last year alone. That's nearly 100 a day, or 8 since we sang the national anthem here tonight. Those rewards, incidentally, are fueling business at local partners like Alex's Restaurant and Hollywood Market. And for those of you who would prefer a more impactful purpose for your points, I would direct you to our Green Schools program. Once again, 2 Rochester community schools have been chosen for this national program. Simply visit recyclebank.com and donate your points to help University Hills and Long Meadow Elementary reach their goal to build environmental projects on their school grounds. The deadline to donate is this Saturday, March 15th. Since this program's inception, almost $15,000 has been donated back to Rochester Hills schools to help reinforce the environmental message to our next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the good news. The program is getting even better. Thanks to skillful negotiation and public input, we are pleased to announce several enhancements starting next month. Let's start with the big one: price. Last year, residents paid almost $52 a quarter. Our new price beginning next month drops to $45, a nearly 13% reduction, and a rate lower than when we started in 2009. Additionally, we have increased the snowbird credit by 50% for those of you who take advantage of that, and we've increased the leaf pickup season by 2 weeks and lowered the overall annual increase to just 2% in the coming years. The results of the negotiations are impressive. Over the life of the 5-year contract, we will save our residents over $4 million. That's $4 million in the pockets of our residents and not in the pockets of the garbage companies. And the service? Well, we asked you what you thought about the service, and in our statistically significant survey, only 4% were dissatisfied. 4%. My guess is there are more than 4% of you dissatisfied with your seat in here tonight. A remarkable number for a program of this magnitude. With numbers like that, this program continues to be an absolute winner. We took a risk 5 years ago, but that's what leaders do. And our reward has been profound, both economically and environmentally. Rochester Hills is now proudly viewed nationally for this leadership. Tonight, friends, I hope you are clearly hearing several things. Our Rochester Hills team is exceptional and innovative. And those 2 words describe the way we've handled our finances over the years as well. It's no secret that the finances of every level of government are under a lot of scrutiny these days. Unfunded liabilities, budget deficits, emergency managers, and the Detroit bankruptcy have brought national media attention to our region. These financial difficulties are a reality for many communities in Metro Detroit and a looming concern for others. Fortunately, we have always led with a conservative and long-term approach, coupled with a strong commitment to transparency. For years, the administration and fiscal team have provided financial forecasts looking 2 to 5 years into the future. But in 2010, we were the first city in Michigan to incorporate a 3-year budget. That's right, the first city. A brilliant plan we simply copied from L. Brooks Patterson at Oakland County, who is the first and still the only county in America to do a 3-year budget. Absolutely. And while Rochester Hills has higher than average income and education levels, we too were blistered by the recent recession, losing 20% of our taxable value between 2009 and 2013. Now, fortunately, our collective vision and innovative thinking, including the 3-year budget, helped us reduce our outstanding debt to just 1% of tax value and increased our general fund balance by 47% in the last 3 years. You heard that correctly. During a loss of 20% of our revenue, we saved more than we spent. And unlike Detroit, Lansing, Washington, and others, we ended each year in the black. We sit now in an enviable position, ranked in the top 5% of Michigan municipalities for financial stability, and able to invest in our residents' biggest areas of interest. And that financial stability? Well, it's being recognized. As earlier this year, Standard & Poor's joined Fitch's rating agency in awarding the City of Rochester Hills the coveted municipal AAA bond rating. Successful money management is just one aspect of our strategic plan, but just as important is getting your constituents to understand where you're headed and how you plan to get there. For the past 3 years, we have produced both a financial summary report and a performance dashboard. Now, these documents provide a way for citizens to easily review our finances, our economic strength, our public safety, quality of life, and community partnerships. These documents simplify the budget process into very easy-to-read and understandable formats, and promote transparency and accountability to our residents. While I am proud to tout these accomplishments, it truly represents a team effort. From outstanding information delivered by our fiscal team led by Keith Sawden, to a city council with a clear vision and purpose, Rochester Hills is fortunate to have some of the region's best. Our fiscal team, for example, they've won 17 budget awards in recent years for innovation and transparency. In fact, we were one of only 6 communities in Michigan to receive all 3 awards from the Government Finance Officers Association, one of only 6 in the entire state. And last month, and perhaps our team's highest honor, I was asked to present to our nation's mayors on the topic of 5 things financially responsible mayors should know. Our city, Rochester Hills, was recognized as a national benchmark for good financial management. We're doing it right, and we're leading the way, and I couldn't be more proud of our entire team. And let me talk about that team for just a minute. Through all of the successes, adventures, innovations, challenges, and awards, the thing I am most pleased about is the absolute awesome team I am honored to be a part of. Our employees care about the jobs they do, and it shows every day. From our incredibly hardworking DPS crews who are out there right now, and they've excelled through the worst winter in 100 years, to the incredible job our clerks department did in receiving 100% scores in the election audit, and in processing over 1,300 passports, an increase of 145% over the previous year. To the great work of our internal departments of finance, HR, treasury, assessing, and others, all of them improving service delivery and finding efficiencies each day. We celebrated the end product of new businesses and growth earlier tonight, but all of that stems from having a planning and economic development team and a building and ordinance team that are synchronized, sophisticated, and successful. And look what we're not talking about. Many mayors must spend a significant amount of time explaining a botched police response or increased fire response times. Not here. In Rochester Hills, our fire department and Oakland County Sheriff's officers excel at their roles of providing public safety, so much so that the fire department received the highest satisfaction rate of any department in the city, and the sheriff's services resulted in 99% of our residents feeling safe in their home and 96% feeling safe in their neighborhoods. You talk about items that impact property values, faith in your first responders, and feeling safe and secure in your community. I can't think of two more directly related. Tonight I am pleased to make a major announcement regarding our Rochester Hills Fire Department. After a nationwide search, I am pleased to welcome our new fire chief, Sean Canto, from Prospect, Kentucky, who will take over the reins on March 24th. Chief Canto comes from a fire service family and has a distinguished career of innovation and leadership. I'm looking forward to his arrival and want to thank Chief Ron Crowell for his leadership and steady hand over the last 8 years. Our team will be well suited for the future with these two fire service professionals. Friends, it's pretty simple. We have created a culture of excellent customer service, and our employees are delivering. The proof, of course, is not in the mayor saying it. It's whether or not the residents believe it. And fortunately, here in Rochester Hills, it's one and the same. Last year, in our statistically significant survey, our employees did their best 1984 World Series Game 4 first inning Alan Trammell impression.
Here's the pitch, he swings, there's a drive to left, it's deep, it is way back, and it is gone! A two-run homer by Trammell, a 2-0 lead for the Tigers in the first inning.
And just like Ernie Harwell said, they absolutely hit it out of the park, as 97% of our residents reported feeling satisfied or very satisfied in their experience with dealing with one of our team members. That, my friends, is a job well done. Please join me in thanking the Rochester Hills employees for the amazing work they do each and every day. Well, we are certainly doing well here in this city, but there are always things that we can do to improve. In just about any organization, communication is key to success. When you have 75,000 people to communicate with and thousands of messages to communicate, the challenge is even greater. Well, as a city, I challenged our team to come up with a better way for our residents to engage their government and access information. And as you might expect, they did just that. Data collected and analyzed by our MIS department indicates that 25% of our website users access our site via a mobile device. Smartphones are everywhere. In fact, I'm sure probably half of you have been surfing in your seats since Dr. Shaner's introduction. So we know you're out there. From Candy Crush and Pandora to Amazon and more, there is an app for everything, and now there's an app for your city. Thanks to the hard work of our communications team and MIS department, tonight I am pleased to launch Rochester Hills Connect, the city's first mobile app designed to make it more convenient for the city to connect with our residents and for you to stay connected with us. Featuring everything from news and events to trailway maps and videos, this app covers it all and puts city information at your fingertips. For example, and this is just a crazy, way out there, non-realistic example, but let's just say you see a pothole on Tinkin. Wasn't supposed to be laughter there in this. The old way was to call when you got home or send an email later that day trying to remember exactly where it was. Well, by using the Report a Concern feature on the app, you can snap a picture, of course not while you're driving, but instantly send it to our team. Your GPS-enabled smartphone will geotag the photo, allowing work crews to locate your concern without requiring you to enter an address. The application will automatically return a map showing the location. It's totally free and totally awesome. And it's now available tonight on Android devices and coming very soon. We checked with Google at 3 o'clock today. Coming very soon for Apple. Oh, and as far as leadership and innovation, we will be just the second city in the state of Michigan with our own specialized app. Just another example of how Rochester Hills continues to lead the way. Friends, Rochester Hills is truly on a roll. We are a very blessed community, and I feel very blessed to be your mayor. I love this city deeply and feel so fortunate to be part of such an outstanding team of public servants. At the end of the day, with all of the growth, changes, innovation, and challenges, the final word on our success rests with you, our residents. And fortunately, your overwhelming satisfaction with living in our beautiful town. One horribly uncomfortable 1980s classic song and video shares just how well we did in this category. I promise you, we are the only state of the city in America to use that clip this year. But Toto is right. 99% of our residents are happy and satisfied with living in our community, the highest recorded total in our city's history. Friends, I am proud to lead the most motivated and innovative team of municipal employees anywhere in Michigan, and I'm proud of our outstanding accomplishments in 2013 and even more excited about our ambitious plans for 2014. We have positioned ourselves as Southeast Michigan's fiscal, environmental, and collaborative leader, and we have the awards to prove it. Our overall performance, well, I'd say we did another 1984 World Series Tiger impression. With the game on the line, just like Gibby, our gutsy team absolutely delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of our city is excellent. In fact, it's awesome and growing even stronger. Here's to 30 years of amazing innovation in our city. Congratulations and thank you for the role you each play in helping make Rochester Hills the undisputed, preeminent place to live, to work, and to raise your family. May God bless you. May God bless our country, and may God continue to bless Rochester Hills for the next 30 years. Thank you.